Chapter 4854. Inside a small pavilion on top of South Hill Manor, Rick and Xianxia sat side by side, overlooking the scenery of the city. The two men's hearts calmed down. "You didn't expect me to live such an ordinary life, right?" Rick asked Xianxia. "Yeah, I thought you'd become the next godfather of the underworld." "Heh, that's not important to me. If it weren't for my brother, I wouldn't have. I might still be here, running the seductive fox bar that belongs to me. To me, being a bar owner is enough. Life's trajectory isn't something we can control. Many times, no matter how hard you try, things won't go the way you want. We call it fate," Xianxia said. "What? You're old now, so you're playing chicken soup for the soul?" Rick teased him. Xianxia smiled faintly. He was still as handsome as ever. "Chu, yeah? You and Huamin had a wedding?" Xianxia's eyes flashed, and he fell slightly silent. "You love her so much, you don't seem like someone who doesn't care about giving her a title. Although a wedding is just a formality, it's also a symbol of a lifetime commitment. You two have 3 children now, and they're all grown up. You're both over 40 years old. Are you really not going to have a wedding?" "That's not what I want, it's what Mian wants." "Then why did Huamin do it?" "She knows how much you love her, and how much you want to announce your happiness to the world." Rick didn't understand. He didn't know why Huamin was doing this. Because they had all lost their memories of Suyu, Rick couldn't remember why Huamin was so persistent. "She didn't say, and I didn't ask. I don't want to make things difficult for her." "You know, I've never had the heart to make things difficult for her," Xianxia said slowly. "Do you want me to ask for you?" "No, it's fine like this. Besides the wedding, we already have everything. As you said, our children are all grown up. The whole world knows that Huamin is Xianxia's wife, so it really doesn't matter." "Really? If it's true, you wouldn't be so disappointed?" As Xianxia's best friend, Rick had always known the only regret in Xianxia's heart. After their wedding had been ruined by Huasiqian, Xianxia had always wanted to prepare for a grand wedding. He wanted to give his wife a beautiful memory, even the most beautiful memory of her life. However, Huamin no longer mentioned the wedding. Xianxia occasionally mentioned it, but Huamin subconsciously avoided the topic. Xianxia couldn't bring it up again. In the blink of an eye, the twins were already 18 years old. Huamin and Xianxia were both middle-aged. Rick thought that they shouldn't be like this. South Hill Manor. After arriving at the hospital, Huamin had a simple meeting, dealt with some work, and came home early. Gao Ran and his family had arrived early. Zhu Lingling helped Huamin wash the fruits for lunch. She didn't forget to complain. "Mian, I'm telling you, my heartless son came straight to your house after leaving the airport." "I know. Little Bean and Yuan went to pick up Buyuan." Huamin was calm. "So is our Buyuan a typical example of forgetting his mother after marrying a wife?" He hasn't even married yet, and he's already forgotten his mother." "It's okay. He'll be filial to his father-in-law and mother-in-law in the future." "Get out of my way. My son was taken away by your family for no reason." Zhu Lingling pinched Huamin's neck. She was as energetic as when she was young. "Where's Xiaowei? Why are you so late today?" Huamin glanced around but didn't see Jiang Xiaowei. Chapter 4855. Zhu Lingling suddenly remembered. "Oh, by the way, she just called me and said that she and her husband had something to do and would come over later. Okay. I'll save a portion for her." All these years, Huamin's friendship with Zhu Lingling and Jiang Xiaowei remained unchanged. The three of them had never had any unhappiness, even though Pudding and Wei Yunchu had blocked each other. Huamin and Jiang Xiaowei were still as close as ever. Whenever she had something delicious or good, she would think of them. Huamin carefully peeled the fruits and placed them on a fruit plate. He even saved a portion for Jiang Xiaowei and put it in the fridge, wrapped in plastic wrap. When Pudding drove in with an, he saw Tang Tianjiao sticking to Qiao Tuanchuan like a dog's skin plaster. He wanted to follow Qiao Tuanchuan wherever he went. "I said, are you a dog skin plaster? Don't follow me. If you agree to take me as your disciple, I won't follow you." It turned out that Tang Tianjiao had been beaten up and was shamelessly pestering Qiao Tuanchuan to be his disciple. Xiao Tuanchuan was so annoyed that he was going crazy. If I don't take in disciples, I'm afraid I won't teach my skills to others. Then I'll follow you. Tang Tianjiao was so shameless that no one could mess with him. If you follow me, I'll beat you up. Xiao Tuanchuan waved his fists as if he was going to use force. If you beat me up, I'll tell my aunt. Tang Tianjiao said confidently. Xiao Tuanchuan, who was Tang Tianjiao's aunt? Of course, it was Huamin. Huamin was Xiao Tuanchuan's beloved aunt. Therefore, he didn't want his aunt to show up. Xiao Tuanchuan felt that he had been tricked by Little Bean. The moment he arrived, he provoked a dog's skin plaster and sat in Pudding's car. When they came in, the car was very slow and vaguely saw a familiar face. He saw Xiao Tuanchuan, who was arguing with Tang Tianjiao at the door. Xiao Tuanchuan looked a bit like Lu Yen, but he also looked like Xiao Fei. That little girl looks familiar, and mumbled. Pudding just drove calmly and didn't answer, after parking the car, and got out of the car. At this time, Qin Chu and Rick also came back from the top of the mountain. Dad, look who's here. Pudding smiled at Qin Chu. President Qin, long time no see. Xiaoan respected Qin Chu very much, so when he saw Qin Chu, he greeted him very politely. Xiaoan Qin Chu was also very close. He walked over and chatted with Xiaoan for a while, asking him about his situation in his hometown in the past few years. Xiaoan returned to the fields. Among these people, he lived a relatively poor life, but he was the most relaxed. They were the most ordinary and ordinary people. Where's Auntie? Pudding asked Xiao Yuan. My mom is taking an afternoon nap at the swimming pool in the back garden, Xiao Yuan said. Swimming pool? Afternoon nap. Auntie sure has a personality. Pudding smiled and led An all the way in, and also greeted everyone. Looking at the familiar faces, many of Xiaoan's blurry memories came back. Especially when he saw the two elders of the Su family, he had an inexplicable feeling in his heart. He shouldn't be familiar with them, but why was he so touched? Until he saw Lu Yen in the back garden. Lu Yen was only wearing a white V-neck long-sleeved shirt and a pair of tight dark blue jeans. She looked like a young girl. She was holding a book in her hand. It was a book about Zhou Yi. The book covered her face. She was probably taking a nap. Auntie, Pudding called out. Lu Yen sat up lazily, removed the book from her face and yawned, and looked at the familiar face and his body trembled. Lu Yen, he blurted out. All his memories of Lu Yen were instantly awakened. Pudding looked at him sideways and saw that he was very excited. Chapter 4856. Hearing Anne's voice, Lu Yen turned her head and looked over. Then her memory opened. Except for the part where she couldn't remember Su Yu, Lu Yen recalled all the memories about Anne. She was his goddess, an unattainable woman. He didn't even dare to think about it. Anne's calm eyes finally collapsed when he saw Lu Yen. Instead, it was replaced by the ecstasy and passion of a young man meeting his sweetheart for the first time. Hey, you're here too? Long time no see. How are you? Lu Yen stood up swiftly from the bench and tossed the book onto the bench with a smile on her face, and nodded excitedly. Good. I'm good. How about you, goddess? I'm still the same. Then, they smiled at each other and Pudding found an excuse to leave. She wanted to give Uncle An a chance to talk to Auntie Lu Yen alone. Although Xiao Fei was jealous, he wouldn't be jealous of An. After all, he knew that their statuses and thoughts were very different. In the back garden, Lu Yen naughtily climbed onto a high railing despite her age. Sitting on it, she swung her feet and crossed her legs, and stood below, still looking up at Lu Yen. He had never felt so peaceful before. It was as if it was only yesterday that he had accompanied Lu Yen to eat and stir up trouble in this city. Time is really a butcher's knife. Lu Yen glanced at him and saw that his sideburns had turned white. She sighed that time was unforgiving. Such poetic words didn't sound like something the crazy Lu Yen would say. Sure enough, she continued, but whether time is a butcher's knife depends on whether you're a pig or not. And, do you think I've changed? All these years? Lu Yen asked him, you're still the same as before. After a pause and said another word, beautiful. She was still as beautiful as before. It wasn't a compliment, it was what in thought. Lu Yan's beauty was unparalleled in the world. Even Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were stunning at such a young age. Lu Yan smiled in satisfaction and nodded. Yeah, I like that. I was just thinking that if you said I was old and ugly, I would beat you into a pig's head. And smiled foolishly. Have you been training all these years? How's your martial arts? Do you want to spar with me? No. I'll just admit defeat. Goddess, please don't torture me. Shaoan was very sensible. Hearing that Lu Yan was going to fight, he surrendered immediately. He was not as arrogant as the young master of the Tang family. He had known Lu Yan's strength for a long time. Although many years had passed, he still did not dare to underestimate Lu Yan. So, before Lu Yan could play a prank on him, he refused. Xiao, there's something I don't understand. Since I ran into you today, I'd like to ask you. Please speak, goddess. Through the sunlight, and looked at Lu Yan, who was high up in the air, and felt satisfied that he could see her again in this lifetime. Who was your employer back then? I vaguely remember that you used to be a bodyguard for an employer. But after all these years, I can't remember his name or what he looked like. I think I know him, but I just can't remember anything. Whenever I try to remember, my mind goes blank. This feeling is so fucking strange. Lu Yan's brain was actually very sensitive. After seeing in this time, she immediately thought of many unexplainable things, so she asked him directly. And was also stunned. Chapter 4857. Because Lu Yan's feelings were so similar to his. He had been living and working in his hometown all these years and still had so much money in his card, but what did he do in this city? Who he was a bodyguard for, his relationship with his employer, and all his memories were gone. It was like a roll of film tape. There was a beginning and an end, and everyone knew what the ending was, but the process in the middle was suddenly blurred. That feeling was getting weirder and weirder. Goddess, to be honest, I feel the same as you. I can't remember either. How can that be? Lu Yan was shocked. That's your employer. You've been by that person's side for so many years. So many years, you can't forget everything. Think carefully, is that person a man or a woman, round or flat? Lu Yan's curiosity was completely aroused, so she wanted to get to the bottom of it, hoping to get something from him. However, and really couldn't remember. He told Lu Yan everything in his heart. Only then did Lu Yan realize that she and An had a common memory that had been magically erased. If she hadn't seen An, Lu Yan wouldn't have cared about this. Because in her heart, her father, Xiao Fei, her two daughters, and Huamin's family were the most important people. Now that she saw An, Lu Yan's curiosity grew. She really wanted to know what the memory she had forgotten was. Who was the person she had forgotten? After putting scent in to meet her auntie, she went to see the children. These super-rich second-generation heirs were especially close to each other. Little Bean, Buyuan, Qingguogua, young Master Tang, Xiao Tuanshuan, Xiao Yuanyuan, and Rick's son, Jin, were all there. Except for Zhixin's youngest daughter, Wei Ying's youngest daughter, and Ni Yang's children who hadn't gone abroad, everyone else was there. It's been a long time since I've seen so many people. Gao Buyuan smiled and sighed. If only Yunchu was here. Young Master Tang didn't know how to read people's expressions and touched a sore spot. As soon as he said that, everyone looked at Pudding, afraid that she would be unhappy. But who was Pudding? That was very much like his parents' personalities, and it was not for show. Those who didn't know her well would never be able to see any emotions on her face. Only Little Bee knew that she still cared. Pudding didn't seem to hear Tang Tianjiao's words. She looked around and said, "Since there are so many people here, why don't we play a killing game? Please close your eyes when it's dark." I like that. Xiao Tuanshuan also liked to play brain-burning games. Everyone agreed to Pudding's suggestion. They all seemed to be very interested. Just like that, South Hill Manor had another particularly lively day. The children were playing games, and the adults were chatting about their daily lives. Huamin hadn't had such peaceful days in years. Sometimes, she wondered if time had passed so quickly that she had forgotten something important. At this moment, in another space-time of a parallel world, Imperial Star Entertainment headquarters. Su Yu's face was dark as he listened to the summary of the various departments after the failed bid. Everyone knew that the president was in a bad mood, so they didn't dare to speak loudly. Everyone was trembling in fear. At this moment, an ear-piercing ringtone broke the silence. Su Yu's cell phone rang loudly on the table. He looked down at the caller ID and his eyes immediately became gentle. In the next second, Su Yu picked up the phone and said in an extremely gentle voice, "Momo, what's wrong?" "I want to eat cake." The volume from Su Yu's phone wasn't low, so everyone in the quiet conference room heard it clearly. The whole world knew that the two women Su Yu cared about the most were his wife, Huamin, and his daughter, Su Yimo. Chapter 48:58. Then, Daddy will go back and buy it for you later, okay? Su Yu held the phone and didn't dare to speak too loudly, afraid that he would scare his daughter. "No, Daddy will come back now, not later." "Okay, I'll come back now. Don't eat matcha, it's hard to communicate." Su Yimo's pronunciation wasn't very accurate and her voice was cute. Su Yu felt that his heart was about to melt when he heard his daughter's voice through the phone. "I won't eat matcha. See you later, Daddy." "See you later, Mo." After hanging up the phone, Su Yu's expression wasn't as gloomy as before. He stood up and looked around at the higher-ups. "That's all for today. Meeting adjourned." Then, Su Yu turned around and left. All the higher-ups also stood up and left the venue. This wasn't the first time and everyone was used to it. No matter how important President Su's matter was, it wasn't as important as his wife and child. Huamin and Su Yimo's matter was the most important matter. Su Yu left the company and drove his Lamborghini Sixth Element to the most luxurious cake shop in the city. Other than matcha, he bought a set of all the other flavors for his daughter. Then he drove back to his private villa at lightning speed. This villa was exactly the same as the one he had in another time and space. Su Yu was a very nostalgic person. He would always inadvertently think of another time and space, as if it was something that happened in his previous life. When he reached home, Huamin was surprised to see Su Yu. "Why are you back? What time is it?" Huamin looked at his watch. It was 9:30 in the morning. Su Yu had breakfast at 7:30 and left home. It had only been 2 hours and he was back. What was going on? Momo said that she wanted to eat cake, Su Yu said seriously. Huamin was even more confused, but Momo just fell asleep. She just acted before she fell asleep. How can you take a child's words seriously? Huamin felt that Su Yu was spoiling his daughter too much. They wished they could go up to the 9th heaven to catch the moon and go down to the 5 seas to catch turtles. But I can't break my promise to my daughter. I've already promised her. As he spoke, Su Yu began to toss the cakes he had bought onto the dining table one by one. When Momo wakes up, give it to her. You'll get cavities if you eat too much sweet food. As a doctor, Huamin really didn't want Su Yu to be so ignorant. What's wrong with tooth decay? I'll take her to America and get a new set of top-notch teeth. What kind of father are you? You're so childish. Huamin didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Is Daddy back? Su Yimo was originally asleep, but after hearing Su Yu's voice, she miraculously woke up. He even ran out barefoot. When Su Yu saw this little thing, he was immediately overjoyed. He hurriedly strode over and picked up his daughter from the ground. Did Daddy ever tell you not to walk barefoot on the ground? Yes, I did. Do you know why? It's cold on the ground. Her slurred pronunciation made Su Yu and Huamin want to laugh. You know it's cold on the ground, but you still did it. Did you do it on purpose? Su Yu was so bad that he copied his daughter's slurred speech. Luckily, Su Yimo was still young and didn't know the situation. Otherwise, she wouldn't have let her father off so easily. Momo misses Daddy. Seeing that she was being scolded, Su Yimo immediately used her ultimate move and rubbed her head against Su Yu's face. For a moment, Su Yu didn't know what was going on. He wasn't afraid of anything, but he was afraid that his daughter would use her ultimate move. Su Yu was really at her mercy. Daddy, where's my cake? The little girl was still thinking about eating. Chapter 48:59. Su Yu carried Su Yimo to the dining table and looked at the dozens of cakes on it. Fortunately, Su Yu's table was big enough to fit all of them. "Oh, Daddy, you're amazing. I'll reward you with a little flower." Su Yimo took off a little red flower on her head and put it on Su Yu's head. Huamin almost spat it out. Su Yu didn't care. As long as his daughter was happy, his image didn't matter. Huamin even naughtily took out his phone and recorded a 10-second video for his parents. Then he posted it on his WeChat moments. Mr. Su skipped work for 2 hours and went home, saying that he was eating cake with his daughter. "I can't live like this. I think my family is going bankrupt." Zhu Lingling's cheeky reply. "If your family is bankrupt, you can come to my house. I'll give you whatever my golden retriever eats." Huamin directly replied with a hammer, wanting to hammer Zhu Lingling to death. Jiang Xiaowei, on the other hand, was more tactful. She commented, "A family flaunting their love. How shameful." Huamin actually didn't want Su Yu to spoil Su Yimo too much, but that was obviously impossible. Because after Huamin gave birth to Su Yimo, she stayed in the confinement center for 28 days. Su Yu stayed there for 28 days. Most of the time, he didn't even need a nurse. Changing diapers, feeding milk, and even bathing and swimming for the child were all done by him. Although he was clumsy and didn't know how to do it, he learned very seriously with the professional nurse next to him. At that time, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan lamented that it was over. Lord Su's reputation was ruined. From then on, the king had become a super dad. Su Yu and Huamin eventually named their child Su Yimo. The meaning was, to help each other in times of need. She hoped that Huamin and Su Yu would be able to walk on together no matter how rich or poor they were. Reality proved that when she was with Su Yu, there were no storms at all. After all, Su Yu was a henpecked husband. As long as his wife said one, he would not dare to say two. If his wife asked him to go east, he would not dare to go west. Furthermore, he was proud of being afraid of his wife, which made Tang Chuan and Wei Liao despise him for a long time. After knowing that Wei Liao had married Jiang Xiaowei, he had also become a henpecked family member. Tang Chuan felt that the world had gone completely crazy. In the end, Su Yu accompanied his daughter to eat the cake and had lunch at home before reluctantly returning to the company. Although Huamin was still the deputy director of Southside, he spent most of his time at home taking care of his daughter. After all, she was not at ease with the nanny at home taking care of the children. Therefore, the couple placed all their focus on the little princess, causing Su Yimo to act even more coquettishly. In a parallel world in another space-time continuum. Some people didn't know that Su Yu was so happy now and were still thinking about the past. While others were happily playing the killing game, Little Bean quietly pulled her sister to a corner. "Sis, what do you want?" Little Bean's face was cold. "I didn't do anything." "Nothing. Why would you ask Uncle Lin to come back? You know he's Su." Little Bean didn't finish her sentence. The name Su Yu was like a curse that she hadn't said for a long time. "I'm just nostalgic," Little Bean said indifferently. "You're not reminiscing about the past. You're trying to remind everyone of him, aren't you? Sis, you're crazy. 5 years ago, you forced Wei Yunchu to leave because of this, and now you're trying to do the same thing again. Do you want Mommy to remember everything and feel guilty for the rest of her life? Just because you can't forget, you want everyone to remember. Sis, you're too selfish." Chapter 4860. In the face of Little Bean's questioning and accusation, Pudding didn't retort and remained silent. Fifth Grandpa said that Handsome Su asked him to do it. It was Handsome Su's last wish. He did so much for everyone. He didn't want anyone to suffer. How could you go against his last wish? Look at what you've done. You're so close to Andy Yao. You avoided Wei Yunchu 5 years ago. You made him think that there was someone in your heart that you couldn't get rid of, but you didn't explain it to him. You made him so heartbroken that he left the country. Now you brought Uncle Lin back. You want everything about Handsome Su back, right? Let me ask you, can you bring him back? Little Bean was rarely so fierce, but she felt that if she didn't say something, her sister would go crazy. "I can't." Pudding answered coldly to the question about Su Yu's resurrection. "If you can't, why are you still doing this? The biggest event of this coming-of-age ceremony is our secret wedding for Mom and Dad. But you want everyone to remember Handsome Sue. Sis, you're crazy? I think you're possessed. Handsome Sue has been gone for so many years, but you've gone crazy for so many years. Little Bean wasn't wrong. Everyone had lost their memories except for the twins' memories of Suyu. In the beginning, the twins couldn't get used to it and often cried in the dead of night, missing Suyu. As time passed and she grew up with them, she began to understand Suyu's original intention. After so many years, Little Bean had seen through everything, but Pudding was stuck in a quagmire. Many people thought that Wei Yunchu left the country 5 years ago because Tian Tian tried to drive a wedge between them. She wanted to make Wei Yunchu and her misunderstand and blacklist each other. But only Pudding, Wei Yunchu, and Little Bean knew the truth. 5 years ago, before Wei Yunchu left the country, he confessed to Pudding. But Wei Yunchu knew who he wanted to be with for the rest of his life, so he invited Pudding to go abroad with him. He wanted to marry her after graduating from college, but Pudding refused. Wei Yunchu wasn't angry even though she refused. He just thought that Pudding was too young and wanted to wait. But what he didn't expect was that Pudding kept saying that there was someone she couldn't forget in her heart. This caused Wei Yunchu to break down. All these years, although he didn't know the truth, he could vaguely feel that Pudding was sometimes absent-minded and sometimes depressed. It must be because he had something on his mind, but he didn't expect that there was someone hidden in his heart. Little Bean also knew about this. The sisters naturally wouldn't tell him who this person was. Wei Yunchu thought that it was a boy that Pudding had a crush on in school. After suffering a serious blow, he went abroad. For the first and second years, he was just angry and didn't want to come back. After a long time, the two of them really drifted apart. They had not contacted each other for 5 years. They had even blacklisted each other and were unwilling to listen to each other's gossip. On the surface, everyone thought that Wei Yunchu had abandoned Pudding and left the country. In reality, it was Pudding who rejected Wei Yunchu, forcing him to leave the country in despair. The whole thing had nothing to do with Tian Tian. She just happened to go abroad with Wei Yunchu and was associated with some things. After Wei Yunchu left, Pudding regretted it. She even envied Tian Tian for being able to stay by Wei Yunchu's side. What she didn't know was that Tian Tian didn't receive any warmth from Wei Yunchu. Wei Yunchu was an extremely cold person. Although he wasn't as cold as Qin Chu, he was extremely difficult to get close to. All these years, only Pudding could truly enter his heart, but in the end. Chapter 4861. Little Bean, I think I've really gone crazy. Because I don't even know if I miss Handsome Sue, if I'm obsessed with him, if it's the admiration between a man and a woman, or if it's the reliance I have on him since I was young. After saying this, Pudding's tears fell. Pudding's EQ was much higher than Little Bean's, even higher than that of ordinary people. However, the onlooker sees more clearly than the player. Now that she was deeply involved, she had completely lost her direction. The problem that had been bothering her for years was that regardless of whether Suyu was around or not, she didn't know what kind of feelings she had for Suyu. Back then, Wei Yunchu confessed that he wanted to go abroad with her. It wasn't that she hadn't thought about it, but she just felt that if she just went abroad and ignored everything, then Suyu's last memory in this world would be gone. Other than her and Little Bean, no one else would remember Suyu. Dwelling on this matter made her lose sleep and suffer. There was even a period of time when she frequently dreamed of Suyu. She dreamed of how Suyu doted on her and Little Bean when they were young. In the end, Suyu promised to take them to Tokyo Disneyland. That wish didn't come true. What Pudding couldn't stand the most was that the woman Suyu loved the most in his life, his mother, Huamin, actually forgot about Suyu. Many times, when she was about to say something, she wanted to remind her mother. She wanted to remind her that there was a man in this world who had disappeared in order to fulfill her happiness. However, she knew that once some words were said, they couldn't be taken back. If her mother remembered everything, then her mother would continue to be in pain, and there would be an irreparable wound between her and her father. Therefore, Pudding, who was conflicted and in pain, lost Wei Yunchu from 5 years ago. Now that she was about to turn 18, everything she did was to awaken everyone's memories of Suyu. Others might not understand, but Little Bean understood. She felt that her sister's actions were extremely selfish. That was why he scolded her, hoping that she would wake up. So what if it's true love? Pudding, handsome Sue is gone. He left us. It's been so many years. Please let go of handsome Sue and yourself. You've already made Wei Yunchu too scared to go home for 5 years. Do you still want everyone to spend the rest of their lives crying for handsome Sue? Little Bean's words were like a hammer that slammed into his chest. Pudding listened, but she didn't want to let go. Little Bean, if we both forget handsome Sue, he will disappear from this world forever. I haven't forgotten. He has always lived in my heart. But I'm not like you. I'm not possessed. You want to use your memories to kill yourself and the people around you. Pudding remained silent. I'm warning you for the last time, Qin Zhao Zhao. If you make mom and dad suffer because of your selfishness, you're not my sister. I'll hate you for the rest of my life and never forgive you. I think if you make mom suffer, handsome Sue won't forgive you in the other world either. After saying this, Little Bean turned around angrily. She didn't want to persuade Pudding anymore. She couldn't understand what Pudding was doing. If Pudding really wanted to revive everyone's memories of handsome Sue, then she really wouldn't forgive her. After Little Bean left, Pudding turned around and wiped her tears. Just then, her phone rang. Boss, I'm at the entrance of South Hill Manor. Can I come in for a cup of tea? Liao Mukin said in a teasing tone. Chapter 4862. Liao Mukin came without any warning. There was no signal at all. He swaggered to the front gate of South Hill Manor and sat in a black van. Since he was already at the door, Pudding had no reason not to pick him up. At the front entrance, Mississippi, the security guards greeted Pudding respectfully. She nodded slightly with a cold face and walked directly to the black van. When Pudding arrived, the door opened automatically. Before Pudding could speak, Liao Mukin said, "It's my own idea. My agent and assistant don't know. I sent them away." "What do you want?" Pudding looked at him with a trace of annoyance. She had just quarreled with Little Bean because of Suyu. It could be said that ever since they were young, Little Bean had always quarreled with Pudding, but she had never scolded Pudding as seriously as she did just now. This was the first time in 18 years. Pudding's heart was really fragile. It seemed that Little Bean was also annoyed by her. Pudding had just caused a storm between sisters because of Suyu, and this guy came to her door. If there was anything good about Liao Mukin, it would be Pudding. From Pudding's point of view, the only thing left was this face that was similar to Suyu's. "Boss, I really just want to join in the fun. I haven't eaten yet. Can I have dinner? I heard that your dinner is always very fancy." The guy had a playful look on his face. He looked like a little ruffian. Pudding sometimes didn't understand why he had so many female fans. How could he compare to Suyu? He couldn't even compare to one of his fingers. He didn't have handsome Sue's dominance and arrogance, nor did he have handsome Sue's elegance and affection. However, since he was already at the door, there was no reason to reject him. In the end, Pudding acquiesced and let him in. The dinner party at South Hill Manor had more than 100 people, including family members, guests, and servants in the manor. So, it shouldn't be a big deal to have Liao Mukin, right? Pudding thought, however, she soon realized that she was wrong. This guy attracted everyone's attention as soon as he entered the door. "Io, isn't that the little fresh meat that's been very popular recently? Why is he here?" Gao Buyuan's sharp eyes immediately spotted the man beside Pudding. Liao Mukin might have come prepared today. It was not as simple as a freeloader. Therefore, he was not wearing his usual casual jeans. Instead, he was wearing a black suit with cropped trousers. It was very fashionable. There was also a small wine-red bow tie on his collar. It was cute and playful, which matched his age very well. After seeing Liao Mukin, Little Bean's expression changed. In the end, she didn't say a word. Instead, she pretended to lower her head and not look at him. On the other hand, Xiao Tuanchuan crossed her arms and said word by word, "Liao Mukin, the most popular artist under GK Entertainment. I heard that his salary has exceeded 200 million yuan, and he's the youngest and most valuable male artist in the country. He's also GK Entertainment's cash cow and Pudding's new favorite. Xiao Tuanchuan smiled. I don't know if he's a new favorite or not, but I'm guessing that Pudding doesn't treat him well. Seeing how Pudding purposely kept her distance from him, it was obvious that Pudding didn't like this guy very much. Holy shit, Liao Mukin? He's so fucking handsome. No, I have to take a picture with him and post it on my WeChat moments. Tang Tianjiao rushed over. Other than posting it on his WeChat moments, there was nothing else in his mind. Chapter 4863. Young Master Tang did as he said and stood in front of Liao Mukin. Liao Mukin, I'm your fan. Can I take a picture with you? Before Liao Mukin could say yes, the kid put his arm around Liao Mukin's shoulder. Then, he took out his phone with one hand and forced himself to take a picture. Pudding shook her head helplessly. She didn't even look at them. You're pretty good looking. Tang Tianjiao pointed at Liao Mukin and said, Thank you. Before Liao Mukin could finish thanking him, the kid interrupted him. That guy continued, I think we're on par, although you're a little less charming than me. Liao Mukin awkwardly took back the second half of his sentence and scratched his head. Do you mind if I post it on WeChat later? Tang Tianjiao asked as he edited the picture with his head lowered. I don't mind, but can you beautify my face? His words amused young Master Tang. Of course. Don't worry, bro. Tang Tianjiao waved his hand and ran away, afraid that Pudding would scold him. Then, the kid posted a very arrogant WeChat moment. It said, ran into Liao Mukin. He's good looking, but he's not as charismatic as me. Ha. It was really young Master Tang's style to add 3 ha after a cool sentence. This little joker was indeed the son of Tang Chuan and Qi Ning. He was always full of energy and couldn't stop. Tian also had Tang Tianjiao's WeChat. She saw his post on WeChat. She immediately took a screenshot and sent it to Wei Yunchu. She thought Wei Yunchu was far away in the States. Yunchu, I saw Liao Mukin go to South Hill Manor today. So? This time, Wei Yunchu replied within seconds. Tian was overjoyed and continued to add fuel to the fire. I've heard that he and Pudding have an ambiguous relationship. Now that she's bringing him home, he must be meeting her parents. Yunchu, you should let go of the past. Some people aren't worth waiting for, really. Wei Yunchu ignored her. Tiantian's words weren't trustworthy. Wei Yunchu already knew this. Wei Yunchu also had Tang Tianjiao's WeChat, so he saw the photo he posted. The rumors about Pudding and the male artist under her company had been spreading like wildfire for half a year. Most importantly, Pudding had indeed given him a lot of resources. Wei Yunchu looked at Liao Mukin's photo and had to admit that he was quite good-looking. But did Pudding really like such a shallow guy? After not seeing her for 5 years, had she really forgotten everything from the past? Inexplicably, Wei Yunchu's heart felt stifled, and his hand that was drinking coffee stopped in midair. Son, does this dress look good? Jiang Xiaowei came out of the fitting room and looked at her son gently. Not bad. How does it compare to the one just now? Anything is fine. Then which one should I wear tonight? This one, the color is brighter. Andy Huamin will like it, Wei Yunchu said gently. Jiang Xiaowei nodded and smiled at the shop assistant beside her. Since my son said they are all good, then pack them up. Iron this one, I'll wear it later. King Mrs. Wei. After shopping with her son, Jiang Xiaowei looked at her watch. It's about time. I have to go. Do you want to come with me? Jiang Xiaowei asked tentatively. I'm not going today. I have an appointment with a friend. The driver can drive you there. I'll stay home tonight, don't worry. Okay, don't be too late. Jiang Xiaowei had always respected her son, so she didn't say more when she saw that he didn't want to go with her. At South Hill Manor, huh? Who's that pretty boy next to Pudding? Zhu Lingling didn't see him clearly at first glance. Hearing her words, Huamin also looked through the crowd, and when she saw the face clearly, she found it strangely familiar. Chapter 4864. Zhu Lingling didn't realize who it was until she saw him clearly. Oh, I remember now. He's the little boy who's very popular recently. He's good-looking. Lingling, who's he? Huamin didn't pay attention to celebrities and gossip, so he didn't know who was popular recently. No way. Are you so backward now? He's an artist under your company. An artist under my company? Huamin was even more confused. He works for Pudding and is very popular. I heard that he has tens of millions of fans. What's his name again? It was right on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot. Zhu Lingling was also confused and didn't understand. Huamin felt very strange. He put down his work and walked over step by step. He couldn't help but want to get closer to the little boy. Behind him, he heard Little Bean's voice. Huamin turned around abruptly. What's wrong? Little Bean? Mom, I miss Grandpa. When is Grandpa coming? I haven't gotten through to your auntie, so I'm not sure yet. Huamin couldn't do anything about her father. He was very secretive and was even harder to find than Lu Yen. So, she wasn't sure if her father would come to the twins' coming-of-age ceremony. When Grandpa comes, I'll teach him a lesson. By the way, Mom, didn't you say there's pine nut custard tonight? Why didn't I see it? Come with me. I want to get more for Tuan Tuan and Yuan Yuan. It's on the table next to your Auntie Lingling. Huamin pointed at Zhu Lingling. Come here. I have something to tell you about the hospital. Little Bean pulled on Huamin's arm as she spoke. Just like that, she easily got her mother to move to the side. Pudding took Liao Mukin out of Huamin's sight. Little Bean didn't know if her sister was crazy or not, but she brought Liao Mukin here without a word. She had seen her mother's blank expression when she looked at Liao Mukin just now. She would never remind her mother of Suyu. Absolutely not. Pudding also saw Little Bean stop Huamin halfway. Thinking of Little Bean's advice, Pudding pulled Liao Mukin to a corner. There's a buffet here. Take whatever you want and leave as soon as you're done. Boss, do you really not welcome me? Liao Mukin smiled on the surface, but in fact he felt a little sour in his heart. Pudding's face was cold. When she said those words, it was as if she was chasing a dog. If it weren't for his thick skin, he really wouldn't have been able to swallow his pride and immediately turn to leave. I didn't invite you. All right, I'll eat something quietly and then leave. You have a lot of guests in your house. Go to your work. Don't worry about me. I won't cause trouble. Seeing that Pudding didn't seem to want to accompany him, Liao Mukin took a plate and planned to eat something. You better mean what you say. Pudding glanced at him and then turned around. At the door was Jiang Xiaowei, who was late. Xiaowei, where's Wei Liao? Gao Ran happened to be at the door. Seeing her alone, he couldn't help but feel a little strange. He's still talking to a client. I don't think he can come. I'm the only one here today. Just in time. Come and sit down, Sister Xiaowei. Qin Ning also held Jiang Xiaowei's arm very intimately. Just as they were about to sit down, Pudding came over and took the initiative to help Jiang Xiaowei get a set of cutlery. When she looked up and saw Pudding, her eyes were a little complicated. She actually really wanted Pudding and Yun Chu to meet and talk alone, but... Chapter 4865. Thank you, Pudding. Penny, shall we eat more? The food tonight is especially delicious. Pudding smiled elegantly. Yes, I'll eat more. Pudding, yes? Have you contacted Yun Chu? Jiang Xiaowei probed. Pudding's expression froze slightly, and then she smiled awkwardly. Not yet, but I heard from my brother that they met in Germany not long ago. Yun Chu seems to be very busy. You guys grew up together, and there's nothing that can't be resolved. In other words, even if there's no possibility of development between you two, you'll still be friends in the future, right? Yes, Andy. Yun Chu and I are friends no matter what. Pudding didn't want to disappoint her elders. She could tell that Auntie Xiaowei had been very good to her all these years. Auntie Xiaowei even favored her more than Little Bean. Perhaps it was because she had long believed that Little Bean and Yun Chu were a couple. Therefore, in this situation, she felt quite guilty. Okay, let's eat. We'll talk about this later. Seeing that Pudding's attitude was good, Jiang Xiaowei felt that there might be a chance between the two children. After all, she could tell from her son's eyes that he couldn't let go. Otherwise, he wouldn't have suddenly returned to the country on the eve of her coming-of-age ceremony. It was obvious how important Pudding's coming-of-age ceremony was to him. Liao Mukin was indeed obedient. He hid in the corner and didn't attract Huamin's attention, nor did he cause any commotion. He sat quietly and ate his dinner, enjoying it quite a lot. Perhaps he was too engrossed in his meal, so he didn't notice the person behind him. A girl's voice sounded behind him. He turned around and was about to call out, "Boss," when he suddenly realized that this girl's clothes were different from his boss's. Her hairstyle was also different. Upon closer inspection, he noticed that her temperament was also different. "I know. You're my boss's sister. Congratulations, you even know how to answer first." Little Bean smiled and sat down beside Liao Mukin as if she was familiar with him. Liao Mukin had been at GK for a long time, but Little Bean, who liked to gossip and chase after celebrities, rarely interacted with Liao Mukin. It could even be said that this was the first time the two of them had met alone. Subconsciously, Little Bean didn't want to see this person. She didn't want to think about handsome Su and be sad. Just like Pudding, Little Bean's feelings for Su Yu were very deep. Sometimes, Pudding would face it, but Little Bean only wanted to escape. Looking at Liao Mukin's face from such a close distance, Little Bean realized that he really did have handsome Su's charm. After only 3 seconds, Little Bean felt a lump in her throat and lowered her head. "What happened to you? Not in a good mood?" "Oh, it's not that. It's just that there are a lot of people at home these days, so I'm a little tired." Little Bean tried to lower her voice. "You really look like my boss." Liao Mukin sighed. "Isn't that obvious? We're twins. If we don't look like each other, why would we be twins?" Little Bean laughed. "You have a different personality too. You're more cheerful. My boss has a different face every day. She's bitter and hateful. It's like everyone owes her 8 million yuan." Liao Mukin bit his chopsticks and started to eat the black pudding. "That's not right. With my sister's current wealth, owing her 8 million won't make her angry. It'll probably be 800 million. After Little Bean said this, Liao Mukin also laughed. "By the way, did my sister bring you here?" Little Bean asked casually, but in reality, she wanted to know if Pudding did it on purpose. However, Liao Mukin shook his head. "No, I shamelessly came here. My boss had no choice but to let me in." "Why did you do that?" Little Bean froze. "Because I like my boss." He still said this in a joking manner. Little Bean was even more shocked when she heard this. Chapter 4866. Little Bean was obviously even more shocked by Liao Mukin's words. "Really? Don't lie to me. This world is so strange. What I usually tell the media is all lies. I don't mean it, but the media and fans believe me. Now that I'm telling you the truth, you don't believe me?" "No, I just think that it's a little too sudden, abrupt. Do you think someone as excellent as your sister doesn't deserve to be liked?" Liao Mukin thought Little Bean was very cute. "Of course not. My sister is excellent, but you and her." Little Bean hesitated and didn't finish her sentence. Liao Mukin wasn't stupid and knew what she meant. He smiled slightly, put down the teacup in his hand, and wiped the corner of his mouth. "I know. You want to say that I'm not good enough for her. After all, my family background is not good. I'm not from a famous family, and I'm not very good looking. My wealth is nothing compared to hers, and I'm a few years older than her." Liao Mukin laughed at himself. "That's not what I meant. It's hard for people to get close to my sister." Little Bean looked at Liao Mukin seriously. "Hard doesn't mean it's impossible. Sincerity can move metal and stone. Okay, if you're so patient, then keep trying. But don't say I didn't warn you. Be careful not to break your glass heart." "Sorry, my heart isn't glass. It's diamond," Liao Mukin teased. "If a diamond is damaged over time, it will also shatter into pieces." "You don't have confidence in me?" Liao Mukin looked at Little Bean and smiled bitterly. "No, I don't have confidence in my sister. Anyway, good luck. Oh, right, there's one more thing. I want to ask you." Little Bean finally told Liao Mukin why she came to see him. "Well, if possible, please stay away from my mother. Don't let her see you or notice you. As for the reason, don't ask. I have my reasons." "Okay." Liao Mukin didn't think it was difficult, so he nodded slightly. "Thank you." Then Little Bean turned around and left. Her conversation with Liao Mukin was a little secretive, so no one noticed. Liao Mukin did abide by the gentleman's agreement and did not let Huamin notice him again. Before he left, he really wanted to say goodbye to Pudding. But from afar, he saw Pudding standing beside a couple of old men. She was happily talking about something, and from time to time, she would mischievously stick out her tongue. That kind of scene could never be seen in the company. In the company, Pudding was just like her father. She always had a cold face. Although she was young, everyone was afraid of her. Liao Mukin didn't know that the old couple that Pudding was coaxing was the Su couple. He just envied those people from the bottom of his heart. If one day, Pudding could also put down her mask and smile at him without fear, he would be very happy, right? Liao Mukin thought as he walked out in a low-key manner. He didn't expect to meet the young master of the Qin family here. Although Qin Guoguo was young, he wasn't short at all. He leaned against the door lazily. Leaving so soon? Yeah, I'm full. Liao Mukin was also puzzled. It was their first time meeting, but they seemed to be very familiar with each other. He knew this kid. He had seen him in photos. There was a family photo of 5 in President Qin and President Qin's office. This kid was standing behind the chairman's wife. He must be the legendary young master of the Qin family, Qin Yuyao. Don't you want to say goodbye to my sister before you leave? Qin Guoguo asked him. Chapter 4867. It's okay. My boss is very busy and won't pay attention to me. Bye. Bye. Liao Mukin waved his hand. Will you come tomorrow? Qin Guoguo continued to ask him. That depends on my boss. I heard that invitations to the coming-of-age ceremony are very hard to come by. So many rich people in the city can't make it. I think I'll have to depend on my luck. Liao Mukin felt that Pudding's attitude towards him today was neither warm nor cold, as if she didn't welcome him. Why would she let an extra person like him come to the coming-of-age ceremony? If you want to come, you can call me. I'll bring you in, Qin Guoguo said word for word. Liao Mukin was stunned. Are you surprised? Qin Guoguo smiled when he saw Huamian's surprised expression. Indeed. I'm flattered. This is the first time we've met. There's no reason for you to be so nice to me. If I told you that I feel very familiar with you, as if I've known you for a long time, would you believe me? Qin Guoguo asked. Before Liao Mukin could respond, Qin Guoguo smiled again. I don't believe it myself. Then, Qin Guoguo turned around and walked inside as if he hadn't said anything to Liao Mukin. Huamian stood there, dumbfounded. He thought to himself, the Qin family is so weird. Pudding and Little Bean are like that, and so is Qin Guoguo. As for why Qin Guoguo was so interested in Liao Mukin, who he had just met for the first time, first, it was because of the rumors about him and his sister. Second, he saw his mother walk towards the kid curiously, but his sister hurriedly stopped her. Third, when he saw the kid's face, he felt like he had seen him before. It was an indescribable feeling. If Pudding and Little Bean enjoyed Su Yu's love for a few years, then Qin Guoguo was actually sad. When he was in Huamin's stomach, Huamin was already in danger. When he was about to be born, something happened to Su Yu. He had never met Su Yu face to face, so he had no idea what Su Yu had sacrificed to protect him and his mother when he was in Huamin's stomach. Therefore, he did not know what Su Yu looked like, nor did he remember Su Yu. Regarding his name, the Yu in the middle of Qin Yuyao's name, the family seemed to have forgotten the original intention of naming him. Liao Mukin left South Hill Manor quietly. After he got into the van, he sent Pudding a WeChat message. Boss, I'm leaving. Thank you for dinner. I'm very full. Pudding was chatting with the 2 elders of the Su family, making them happy. When he saw the WeChat message, his eyes darkened, but he did not reply. He put down his phone and continued to accompany the 2 elders of the Su family. That was why gossip was unreliable. It was rumored that Pudding and Liao Mukin were in love with each other. Now, all they had to do was wait for Qin Chu and Huamin's approval. But what was the real situation? Not only did Pudding not have a good impression of Liao Mukin, she even had a little bit of hostility. It was the feeling of rejection. After dinner and seeing everyone off, it was already 10 p.m. Lu Yen was a person who could not stay idle. She brought her husband, daughter, and even the twins and Qin Guogua. The whole family went to the nightclub. Fortunately, the nightclub was one of Tang Chuan's businesses and was not dangerous, so Huamin agreed. It was late at night. Huamin finished cleaning up with the maid and leaned on Qin Chu's shoulder tiredly. "Honey, I'm so hungry. Why do I feel like I'm not full?" "Then let's go out for supper. Now." Huamin was surprised. Chapter 4868. Qin Chu nodded. "It's already 10:30. Huamin looked at her watch. So will I get fat if I eat at this time?" Huamin smiled. "You're already a mother of 3. What's there to be afraid of? Eat your fill first," Qin Chu coaxed her. "What do you want to eat?" Huamin showed great interest. She also revealed her true colors as a foodie. Actually, Huamin couldn't be blamed. With so many people at home, she definitely had to entertain the guests first. She was afraid that everyone wouldn't eat well. Therefore, in order to take care of everyone, she didn't eat much herself. Tonight's meal was mainly Western food. Most of it was steak and foie gras. Huamin actually didn't like steak very much, especially the medium-rare kind. There were still traces of blood in it, so she really couldn't taste it. It wasn't as good as Chinese food. Therefore, at this moment, after busying herself, her stomach was naturally growling. "Xian's ramen, do you want to go?" Qin Chu lowered his head and asked her with a doting expression. Yes. Other things were fine, but Xian's ramen was a temptation that Huamin couldn't resist since she was a girl. Not only was the ramen delicious, but it was also cheap. The price hadn't changed all these years, and the taste of the beef was also a taste that others couldn't make. Qin Chu knew his wife too well. A single Xian's ramen was enough to coax her into following him out obediently. In order not to attract the attention of the media and make headlines, Qin Chu went out in a low-key manner. He only drove the most inconspicuous car in the garage, a phaeton. The car was very long, but the interior was very impressive. It was also worth more than 1,000,000 yuan. There was a saying that went, "Don't be afraid of Mercedes-Benz and Land Rovers, but be afraid of Volkswagen with letters." The phaeton was a Volkswagen with letters. It looked like an ordinary person, but it was actually a noble among the masses. It was a godlike existence. The couple drove out of South Hill Manor in a low-key manner. It wasn't easy to have a chance to eat with his wife alone. Qin Chu was in a good mood. She turned on the music in the car. Accompanied by the evening breeze, it was a different kind of mood. Qin Chu was nostalgic. Just like Huamin, he liked some old songs. It was a name that no one had ever heard of. Perhaps Qin Chu was trying to cater to his wife's mood, but he actually played the song, "Silence is Golden." It was one of Zhang Guorong's classic works. Back then, Qin Chu had also personally sung it for Huamin. It could be considered as a sweet memory of their relationship. As soon as she heard this song, Huamin immediately started singing along. Although her Cantonese pronunciation was not very accurate, and she would occasionally slip out of tune, it didn't affect her good mood. As Qin Chu drove, he glanced at the side of his wife's face from time to time. At this moment, he was extremely satisfied. What he wanted was to grow old with Huamin. Now, they had been together for more than 20 years. They met and fell in love when they were teenagers. Now that they were 40 years old, time slipped away in the blink of an eye. Qin Chu wasn't afraid of growing old, nor was he afraid of his wife's aging appearance. He was only afraid that he wouldn't grow old with his wife. At the entrance of Xian's ramen, the noodle shop was still open. Under the dim light, there were still groups of young people eating supper. Although it was already late autumn and the weather was very cold, it didn't stop everyone's passion for ramen. The former owner of Xian's ramen had a stroke 5 years ago and was hospitalized at Southside. It was Huamin who personally treated him. After he was discharged, he stayed at home to recuperate. Now, the noodle shop was inherited by his daughter. She was a very lively girl, and the noodles she made were as delicious as her father's. "Uncle Qin, Auntie Mian, you're here." "Yeah, same old, 2 bowls of ramen and beef," Qin Chu said. "Okay, wait a moment, it'll be right up." The girl was very diligent. Huamin looked at the familiar noodle shop and the somewhat old second high across the street, and sighed in her heart. Honey, do you think that if I didn't go to second high back then and went to another school, we wouldn't have met? Chapter 4869. Qin Chu replied domineeringly, but there are no ifs in life. You can't predict what hasn't happened yet. All I see is the current outcome. Fine. You really don't want to be taken advantage of. Huamin smiled as he reached out and pinched Qin Chu's face. All these years, only Huamin dared to pinch Qin Chu's face so recklessly. Even the twins didn't dare to bully their father like this. The noodles are ready. Uncle Qin, Auntie Miam, enjoy. Yu Hong, how's your father's recovery? Huamin looked up and asked the girl. Dad's recovering well. He's living in the countryside with Mom. The air there is good. He exercises for 3 hours every day and can already walk 8 or 9 meters by himself. That's good. Yes, Dad is very grateful. If it weren't for your treatment, he probably wouldn't have recovered so quickly. Don't mention it. Even if your father and I don't know each other, I will still treat him with care. As a doctor, I will treat every patient seriously. Tell your father to never drink again. Keep warm and don't catch a cold. Okay, Auntie Mian. Thank you. The girl bowed deeply to Huamin politely and then went into the kitchen to cook. Huamin and Qin Chu ate simple ramen and pickled vegetables while drinking ancient soda. These things were the best tools to bring them back to their youth. Almost every time they ate here, they would remember something from their school days. Qin Chu thought that his Mian would talk about something interesting today. But she didn't. After a few bites of noodles, she suddenly thought of something and asked him, Honey, there's a very popular artist under our company. He's a little boy. What's his name? Are you talking about Liao Mukin? Qin Chu was curious. His name is Liao Mukin? Huamin confirmed. Qin Chu nodded. Huamin put down his chopsticks and picked up his phone. Soon he found the kid's information on Baidu Encyclopedia. Then, after skimming through it, she clicked on one of his daily photos. Huamin looked at that face with a complicated expression. What's wrong, Mian? Honey, look at this face, don't you think it's familiar? Huamin picked up her phone and showed Qin Chu Liao Mukin's photo. Unfortunately, Qin Chu did not feel that way. Perhaps it was because he had seen Liao Mukin many times. When this kid first came to the company, he was highly praised. Qin Chu often attended events with Pudding and Qin Chu, so he wasn't surprised. To be honest, I don't feel that way. What's wrong, Mian? Do you know this kid? Qin Chu was curious about his wife's reaction. I don't think so. This is the first time I've heard of his name, but today, when I saw him for the first time at our house, I felt strange. I had a strange feeling in my heart. Felt like I should know this person and have known him for a long time. But that can't be right. He's only in his early 20s. Do you know his family background? What do his parents do for a living? Could he be an old acquaintance of ours? Huamin was curious. His family background is average and he's not from here. His parents are ordinary workers. I think his father works on the railroad and his mother runs a supermarket. His parents came to the company before and participated in our events and interviews. I've seen them before, but I don't know them. Then what's going on? Why do I have this strange feeling? Huamin looked at the kid's photo again and couldn't figure it out. Chapter 4870. Maybe it's just my imagination. You've been busy at Southside recently. Plus, you've been preparing for the 2 children's coming-of-age ceremony. Maybe you're too tired. Hearing Qin Chu's comforting words, Huamin nodded doubtfully. Then, he put away his phone and continued eating his noodles. At the Tang family's private villa. After Tang Chuan and Qin Ning got married, they bought a private villa in the wealthy area not far from Qin Chu's house. After Qin Ning gave birth to her son, she became a mother in the Tang family. In order to see her grandson, the old lady of the Tang family wanted to worship her daughter-in-law. Qin Ning wasn't a ruthless person. Slowly, her relationship with Tang Chuan's family improved. Tang Tianjiao became the favorite of his grandparents and the entire Tang family. That was why he became a devil at such a young age. Qin Ning suddenly felt inferior. Why were other children so obedient and sensible? Why was her nephew, Qin Yuyao, like an elegant young master when they were both in their teens? Not only was he good-looking and had a high EQ, but he also had the introverted personality of a brother and the steadiness of a sister-in-law. Why was her son as happy as a mutant husky? Because of this, she even complained that Tang Chuan's genes weren't good and that he was a hindrance. Tang Tianjiao finished dinner at South Hill Manor. After returning with his parents, he took a shower and was about to go to bed. However, when he saw Little Bean's post, his sleepiness instantly disappeared. Little Bean posted a big photo. It was in a dark private room in the clubhouse. Pudding and Little Bean were in the front row, and Qin Yuyao was in the middle. Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were on both sides. The 5 good-looking children were gathered together, and the scene was very lively. They were even allowed to drink. Tang Tianjiao realized that each of them was holding a bottle of beer in their hands. They were having a great time. Children under the age of 16 were not allowed to drink in the family. Tang Tianjiao drank secretly once and was beaten up by his father, Tang Chuan. His butt was swollen. After that, he didn't dare to try it again. Now, these few people were swaggering around and drinking? If he remembered correctly, Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were only 12 years old. They were the same age as him. Why could they drink? Thinking of this, Tang Tianjiao threatened, "Sister Little Bean, I'm going to tell Auntie that you guys were drinking. We'll be 18 after the coming-of-age ceremony. Will my mom care about us?" Little Bean retorted. "But my cousin is still young, he's only 14 years old." Young Master Tang wasn't convinced. Instead, he was filled with envy and jealousy. "My brother was specially approved by my mother. What does it have to do with you?" Tang Tianjiao was once again insulted, and the feeling was extremely uncomfortable, so he continued to nitpick. "Then Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan are only 12, the same age as me. My auntie's family is very relaxed. Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan have tasted all the famous wines in the world since they were 8 years old. Now, they know the name of the wine just by smelling it, and they won't get drunk even after 1,000 cups. Sick fucking pervert." Tang Tianjiao felt that the Qiao family was way too sick. Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan's parents actually allowed them to start drinking at the age of 8. No wonder the 2 sisters were so powerful. Whenever they attacked, they would definitely injure someone. After thinking about it, Tang Tianjiao thickened his skin and sent a private message to Little Bean. "Beautiful, gentle, kind, and adorable, the invincible sister Little Bean. If you have something to say, then say it." Little Bean didn't hold back. Over the years, she had often argued with this naughty cousin. "Can you bring me?" Before Tang Tianjiao could finish, Little Bean blocked his message. "I'm not done yet." Young Master Tang felt wronged. "Don't say any more. I can't bring you here. Why? Am I not your most beloved cousin?" Young Master Tang began to act coquettishly and cutely. Chapter 4871. Little Bean replied straightforwardly, "You've never been. You hurt my feelings, sis." "Ha." Little Bean laughed devilishly on the other end of the line. At this moment, young Master Tang anxiously went downstairs in his pajamas. He found that his parents were still drinking red wine and watching a movie. "Why aren't you asleep yet?" Tang Chuan turned around and saw his son coming downstairs. "Dad, you have to help me this time. They don't like me." "Who?" Tang Chuan was also confused when he heard this. After that, young Master Tang told his father everything that had happened. Tang Chuan immediately slammed the table and exploded. "These inhumane people, why didn't they take my son with them? Don't get involved. You're not on the same level as Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan. Your childhood was different." Qi Ning mocked her son. She knew what kind of person Lu Yen was. Her way of educating her children was strange. "Mom, even you're laughing at me? Don't be afraid, son. I'll call them now." Tang Chuan took care of his son for the first time. He called Pudding's cell phone. 3 minutes later, Tang Chuan hung up the phone and smiled slightly. "Pudding will pick you up at the door. Go, son. I'll ask the driver to take you there." Wow, Dad, I love you. Tang Tianjiao hugged Tang Chuan's neck excitedly and kissed him. It's okay, it's okay. It's not a big deal. Dad, you're so good. You didn't act like my dad today. Bullshit, if I'm not like your dad, who is? Old Wang next door? As soon as he finished speaking, Tang Chuan was kicked in the butt. Qin Ning didn't show any mercy. I'll stop fooling around. I'm leaving it. I definitely won't drink. I'm just going to have fun. It's okay, you can drink less, Tang Chuan reminded him. Flattered. Dad, if you keep up this state, I'll love you for 10,000 years. Tang Tianjiao felt that today was a great day. His father, who was usually strict with him and would beat him up for no reason, had turned into a loving father today. What was going on? However, he didn't have time to think too much about it. He just wanted to go out and play. Tang Chuan called Pudding. After all, he was Pudding's uncle, so he had to give him face. Therefore, Pudding immediately agreed and brought Tang Tianjiao along to have fun. Son, come back soon. Don't be too crazy, okay? Before leaving, Qin Ning was still a little worried and kept reminding him. I won't embarrass you, Qin Ning. Tang Tianjiao hurriedly changed his clothes and left. His chauffeur drove him to the club where Lu Yen and the others were. Qin Ning looked at her husband, who was acting out of character. She narrowed her eyes and questioned, Did you take the wrong medicine today? Why are you pleading for your son? This isn't like you. I naturally have my reasons. See, I knew there was something fishy going on. Our son is too naive. He might believe you, but I don't. Tell me, what do you want? Qin Ning leaned against the sofa and looked at Tang Chuan, who was smiling mischievously. Ever since Tianjiao was born, don't you feel that something is missing between us? What? Qin Ning froze. Before this kid was born, we did it once every 2 days. After he was born, we only did it once a week. Tang Chuan's tone was full of grievance. In the end, Qin Ning finally understood what he meant. Her cheeks instantly turned red. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm not talking nonsense. This kid affected the harmony of our sex life. So, today I sent him away. Are you going to reward me? With that, Tang Chuan pounced on Qin Ning, who was on the sofa. Chapter 4872. Even if Tang Tianjiao was beaten to death, he would never have thought that his father would be so abnormal today. What was the reason? He didn't care too much about it. It wasn't easy for him to get permission to go out, so he wanted to run to the end of the world. Teenagers were all rebellious and didn't want to go home or listen to their parents. Tang Tianjiao was especially naughty. Although he was naughty, he didn't do anything out of line. Qin Ning had a headache, but she acquiesced. In the dim private room of the nightclub, Lu Yen and Xiao Fei sat in a corner, showing him the new electronic products they had invented recently. Their voices weren't loud and were drowned out by the singing. Xiao Fei put an arm around Lu Yan's shoulder, and they were as intimate as when they first started dating. Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were used to the public display of affection and could calmly watch their parents show off their love. Little Bean was in a good mood because Galbuyuan was back and she had one more follower. She lay on Galbuyuan's lap and played games on her phone. Galbuyuan even peeled nuts and fed them to Little Bean. Sis, nuts make you fat, Qingguogua said. Nonsense. Nuts are good for the brain. Little Bean rolled her eyes. You're smart enough. You don't need to eat more. Qingguogua continued to smirk. Don't try to fool me. I'm the dumbest here. If I don't eat more, I won't catch up with you guys even if I ride a rocket. Of course, Little Bean knew she was the dumbest among them. She thought she was smart, but compared to Pudding, Qingguogua, Xiao Tuanshuan, and Xiao Yuanyuan, she was really clumsy. It's okay. I'll be at the bottom for you. Galbuyuan chuckled. As long as Little Bean was happy, he could turn on his self-deprecating mode anytime. Little Bean was very protective of Galbuyuan and couldn't bear to see him being ridiculed. So, she immediately said, I don't want you to be at the bottom. You have to be something. After all, you're a student of the Public Security University. Look at your grandpa and dad. You have to be at the top in the future. I'll try my best. Gao Buiyuan continued to smile as if he was never angry with Little Bean. What's Yunchu doing now? Qin Guoguo's words seemed to freeze the air. Are you touching a sore spot? Xiao Yuanyuan chuckled as she looked at Qin Guoguo. Not really. My sister is very calm. She won't be affected by what others say, Qin Guoguo said and deliberately looked at Pudding. Indeed, she was holding the microphone and singing Jay Chou's Red Dust in very seriously. Her mood was not affected at all. Qin Guoguo thought of Liao Mukin, who came to the house today, and Wei Yunchu, who was abroad. She suddenly felt conflicted for her sister. Of course, everyone hoped that she could get together with Wei Yunchu. After all, they were childhood sweethearts who grew up together. But, with Pudding's personality, she had been in a cold war with Wei Yunchu for 5 years. Could they really reconcile so easily? Qin Guoguo liked Wei Yunchu very much. After all, he called him Big Brother. Therefore, he always wanted to do something. He took out his phone and secretly sent a WeChat message. There were no words, only a picture of Pudding's side profile as she sang. Pudding's hair was very long, black and straight. She was wearing a straight red miniskirt. Her collarbones were clearly visible, making her look a little sexy. She only had a black Patek Philippe watch on her wrist. It was worth 1,000,000 yuan. She rarely smiled. Or rather, it was rare for people to catch a smile on her face. Little Bean, on the other hand, was very willing to smile. Whether it was at the hospital or at home, she was always carefree. Pudding, on the other hand, was always worried. On the other side, Wei Yunchu was about to lie down and sleep when his phone rang. He slowly picked it up and his eyes became deep. Chapter 4873. He instantly recognized Pudding. Even though he only saw her side profile, he could still recognize her. It had been 5 years since he last saw her. She hadn't changed much, but she hadn't changed much either. Her facial features hadn't changed, but her temperament had. When they separated 5 years ago, they were only 13 years old. At that time, they were already mature and knew what it meant to like each other. Wei Yunchu was almost 100% sure that Pudding would go abroad with him, and then they would spend a lot of good times together. But at that time, he realized that Pudding was always preoccupied. It wasn't because she was depressed. It was because there was someone in her heart, and Pudding seemed to know this person. But in the end, she didn't ask who this person was. Because that wasn't important anymore. No matter who Pudding loved, as long as it wasn't him, he couldn't bear the consequences. Pudding didn't give a clear answer to his confession. She hesitated. So he was hurt. Such an arrogant young man who had never failed before was defeated by Pudding. One could imagine the impact. After all, he was only 13 years old. The way he handled things could never be as mature as an adult. So Wei Yunchu chose to go abroad alone. Later, Tian followed and stuck to him like glue. Many elders thought that there was something going on between him and Tianan, but the truth? Wei Yunchu had never looked at Tian, whether it was before or now. Once, Tian got drunk and took the initiative to ask Wei Yunchu, "Is it because I'm an orphan that you look down on me? I don't have a prominent family like Pudding, and I don't have Pudding's exquisite beauty. I can't give you a strong future. Is that why you look down on me?" Wei Yunchu didn't want to answer such a boring question, but seeing Tian's obsession and pain, he decided to tell her the answer. He said, "If you and Pudding's families were switched, you were a rich young lady and she was an orphan, then I wouldn't dislike you." Tian asked him in pain, "Why?" Wei Yunchu said directly, "Because she's Pudding. Because she's Pudding, no matter her status, appearance, or upbringing, she's my love. Because you're not her, no matter if you're the president's daughter or a rich young lady, it has nothing to do with me." After that, Tian disappeared for a while. Although they were in the same school, they didn't see each other often. One of Wei Yunchu's characteristics was that if he didn't like someone, he wouldn't give them any hope. He had always thought that, like Buin, he had already decided on a wife since he was young. Who would have thought that there would be any deviations? Therefore, the sudden incident 5 years ago was too much for the two 13-year-old children to handle and they lost contact with each other. He spent the past 5 years in silence, As for his return this time, he had been conflicted for a long time. He was afraid that when he came back, even if Pudding looked at him, she would be indifferent. She was afraid that the person who had been in her heart for so many years was still irreplaceable. Even so, he still wanted to fight for a chance for himself. After all, he didn't want to miss such an important moment in her life. After thinking for a while, he replied to Qin Guogua, "She's still so beautiful." "So you won't give up on her, right?" Qin Guogua asked. Wei Yunchu did not reply. There were many things that he already knew the answer to. Naturally, he would not casually tell others. Chapter 4874. In a mansion in the city, wearing a cotton nightgown, Han Yueyao leaned against the sofa with a glass of red wine in her hand. "You shouldn't drink so much. You have a schedule tomorrow." A tall and gentle man with slightly curly hair stood beside her. This was Han Yueyao's manager, who had been with her since before she became famous. For many years, although Han Yueyao had been involved in scandals, she had never really been in love. This man had been with her for more than 10 years and had never married or had children. Their relationship had been reported by some unscrupulous media, but because there was no evidence, it was left unsettled. "Mu, bring me another bottle," Han Yueyao ordered him after finishing the wine in her glass. "Don't drink any more." "I can't sleep. I've been feeling very tired recently," she said. "If you really feel stressed, I'll cancel all my schedules next week. You have enough money now, you have fame, and you've won so many awards. Your life is complete." "My life is complete? Well, not yet. Keep feeling like I seem to have forgotten someone." Han Yueyao burst into tears at this point. She was even sadder than Huamin because Huamin could still remember some things when he saw Yao Mukin. Han Yueyao only vaguely remembered that someone lived in her heart, but she didn't know what that person looked like, how old he was, or what he said. All these years, she would feel pain in her heart every night. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't remember anything. She didn't feel anything when she saw Yao Mukin. Perhaps Han Yueyao hadn't known Su Yu for long enough. Therefore, she didn't have deep memories like Huamin. "Are you having a relapse again? I'll make an appointment with a doctor for you tomorrow." Mu always thought that Han Yueyao was hysterical and always fantasized about things and people that didn't exist. When it was serious, he took her to see a psychiatrist and a Chinese medicine doctor. He prescribed her some medicine that could help her sleep peacefully. It would more or less relieve her symptoms. Seeing that she was causing trouble again, he was very worried. "No, I plan to see Sister Mian tomorrow." Han Yueyao didn't remember why she trusted Huamin so much. She was closer to Pudding and Little Bean. She couldn't remember the process, but she had been in contact with them all these years. 2:30 in the morning, feeling sleepy, Lu Yen suggested going back to South Hill Manor to sleep. However, the children all said that they were hungry and wanted to go out to eat. Lu Yen waved her hand. "You guys go and eat. Then go back." "Are they going alone?" Xiao Fei was a little worried. "What are you afraid of? Pudding is here, isn't she? She's an adult." Then, Lu Yen and Xiao Fei left the nightclub. Xiao Tuanchuan, Xiao Yuanyuan, Tang Tianjiao, Gao Buyuan, Little Bean, Qin Guogua, and Pudding. The group of 7 decided to go eat something. "Let me take you to a Cantonese breakfast. I know a restaurant that's open 24 hours a day," Pudding suggested. "Sis, I want to eat barbecue and seafood." These words were said by Xiao Tuanchuan. She rarely spoke, but her words carried a lot of weight. "Why do you want barbecue all of a sudden?" Pudding was surprised. "Are you sure you don't mind that place being dirty and messy? It's not a high-end restaurant. Don't regret it if you go there." Little Bean smirked. Chapter 4875. I heard from Uncle Ali that the food stalls here are very delicious. It's very lively. Ali had told Xiao Tuanchuan that she had never been to a food stall before. Now that her parents weren't around, she wanted to have some fun. "That place is a bit messy. I don't recommend it." Qin Guogua had experienced it before and didn't recommend it. It was better to find a 5-star private restaurant to eat quietly and enjoy the night view. The messier it is, the more interesting it is. Sis, take us there. Who knows when we'll come again. Hearing that her sister wanted to go, Xiao Yuanyuan followed suit. Okay, but don't cause any trouble. Pudding knew that her two sisters were very difficult to deal with. If she brought the two little bombs of the Qiao family with her, she was worried that they would cause trouble everywhere. We won't cause any trouble. When Xiao Tuanchuan smiled, her small canine teeth were very cute. Tang Tianjiao couldn't help but touch her mouth. Fuck, these are real teeth. They're so unique. Can you give them to me? Do you want to die? Xiao Tuanchuan casually punched Tang Tianjiao, making him cry out in pain. Sis, let's go to the food street near Qingshui Road. I heard there are more people there, Little Bean suggested. I don't recommend going there. There are local gangs there that collect protection fees and watch over the place. It's very messy, Gao Buyuan said this time. The Gao family was a family of police officers. He had followed his father around since he was a child and knew the situation in every district. It would have been better if he hadn't mentioned it. Now that he mentioned it, the two from the Qiao family were even more eager to try. Wow, gangs are so exciting. We want to see it. Let's go there, sis. Sis, please. The Qiao sisters acted coquettishly and cutely as if they were harmless to humans and animals. Pudding couldn't bear to refuse them and took them there. However, if Pudding had known what would happen, she would never have brought them along. Who would have thought that this group of second-generation rich kids would cause such a big mess on their first solo mission? The 7 of them drove to the food street. In order not to attract attention, they parked their car in a parking lot far away. Then, they walked for a full 2 miles before arriving at the seafood stall. This was the most crowded place in the city after 10 o'clock at night, because it was said that it opened at 9 p.m. every night until 6 a.m. in the morning. Many people who were working the night shift liked to come here to eat. It was cheap, had a wide variety of food, and most importantly, it was lively. It was already past 3 in the morning. Unexpectedly, there were still so many people here. The smell of barbecue, crayfish, and beer was everywhere. Almost every restaurant would have a few tables of guests. Some would play finger-guessing games, some would compete in drinking, some would sing, and some would even record short videos for internet celebrities. The group of people kept walking until they reached a shop with the most customers. Then they stopped. Let's take this one. I heard it's not bad, Pudding said. Isn't this an internet celebrity shop? I heard that a month ago, the superstar Liao Mukin came to eat here. Then he suddenly became famous. The boss even took a picture with him. Tang Tianjiao gossiped. What is Liao Mukin? He just works for my sister. Do you really have to be like this? Little Bean chuckled and changed the topic. She didn't want people to keep mentioning this person in front of Pudding. The group of people chatted and laughed as they walked in. However, he did not expect that the moment he entered the door, he had already been targeted. Big Brother Tao, look at that group of people. There are 2 pairs of twins and they are so damn good looking. Huh, well, wouldn't it be great if we tied them up and gave them to you? Above the food stall, a shifty-eyed man said to the bald man beside him with a fawning expression. Chapter 4876. The 7 of them attracted a lot of attention when they walked in. They were all good-looking men and women. Because of their height, it was hard to tell that the oldest of them was less than 19 years old, Gao Bui. The youngest was 12 years old, the 2 sisters of the Qiao family and Tang Tianjiao. This restaurant was called Mao Dada Food Stall. It was the most popular and occupied the largest space on the street. Many people came for supper. There were many live seafood, crayfish, and all kinds of fish at the door. After sitting down, Pudding stood up. What do you want to eat? I'll order it. It's your treat. Can we eat as much as we want? Tang Tianjiao looked at Pudding with a cheeky smile. Sure. Eat as much as you want. Pudding smiled, looking happy. Sis, I want crayfish. Spicy, and 13 spice. I want all of them, Little Bean said. She was like a fighter among foodies. Even the crayfish had 3 flavors. You're so nosy. Pudding glared at Little Bean. Sis, I want edamame, spiced peanuts, and conch, Qingguogua said. He had been in Germany for a long time and had mostly eaten grilled pork shoulder and sausages. Over there was very little variety. When he went to a Chinese restaurant, the taste was very unauthentic. She didn't know why, but when she went overseas, even the most original dumplings in her hometown tasted different from the original. So, Qin Guogua decided to indulge himself in supper this time. What about you, Bui? Pudding glanced at Gao Buyuan. I'm okay with anything. I'll eat whatever you order. To Anchuan and Yuan, Pudding called their names together, which was funny. Sis, I don't know much about it. Just order whatever you think is good. Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuan's food in the military academy was strictly controlled by the instructor. Now that they were back on the island, Lu Yin didn't allow them to overeat, so they didn't know much about the local snacks. Seeing that they all wanted her to make the decision, Pudding didn't refuse. After all, she would be the one paying the bill. Just like that, Pudding went to the door alone and looked at all the aquatic products. Beauty, what would you like to eat? One of the lackeys had dyed blonde hair and looked to be in his 20s. He was skinny and had dark skin. Crabs steamed. I want 10. Bamboo prawns, boiled, 2 caddies. Stir-fried conch, 500 grams of spicy. Large conch, slice, boil, 2 caddies. Steamed scallops with garlic and vermicelli. I want it. Crayfish, spicy, 13 spice. Minced garlic, 1 of each of the 4 flavors. 1 set of spiced edamame, 1 set of spiced peanuts, and 1 set of cold cucumber. Alright, I want pineapple rice. Give me 3 sets first. Although Pudding had never been here before, she could tell that it was no different from a high-end hotel. The method of cooking seafood was even simpler. Seeing that the seafood was still fresh, he ordered a lot of it. The man hurriedly wrote it down and repeated it to Pudding. After confirming that everything was correct, Pudding turned to the bar to choose a drink and beer. The blonde at the door secretly said to the boss, "Boss, there's an old spendthrift who ordered a lot of our seafood. We can make a fortune. Are you sure they're not here to dine and dash? Don't let them run away." The boss was worried. Pudding ordered a lot of food, so the total cost of the meal was about 3,000 to 4,000 yuan. 3,000 to 4,000 yuan was nothing to the rich second-generation heirs, but for the food stall owners, it was a big deal. No, that girl is dressed very formally. They're probably the young masters and young mistresses of some rich family. They're dressed in designer clothes, the blonde said with a smile. Chapter 4877. Pudding only wanted to fulfill her 2 cousins' wish and take them out for supper. She really didn't want to cause any trouble, but sometimes, trouble would come to you if you didn't cause any trouble. There were a few internet celebrities playing video games nearby. One of them, a good-looking boy, came up to them. He looked at Pudding and asked with a smile, "Miss, can I add you on WeChat?" Before Pudding could reply, Tang Tianjiao glared at him and scolded, "Get out of here. I hate internet celebrities like you the most. Are you retarded from playing video games? Do you think it's your home? Flirting with anyone you can get your hands on." After being scolded by Tang Tianjiao, the boy quickly left with an awkward expression on his face. Xiao Tuanchuan smiled. "Not bad, little Tang. You're good at scolding people." "See, I've always been a bully. When it comes to scolding people, no one can beat me," Tang Tianjiao said and flipped his hair. "Okay, stop bragging. I wonder who was the one who got beaten up this morning." Little Bean laughed bitterly. "Sis, can you give me some face? There are so many people here." Little Tang rolled his eyes at Little Bean. At this time, the dishes were served one after another. The speed at which the dishes were served was very fast. After the dishes were served, the blonde stood beside Pudding and didn't leave. He seemed to have something he couldn't say. "What's wrong? Is there a problem?" Pudding turned around when she saw his strange behavior. Can we place an order now? Our boss said that the dishes on this table are more expensive. If you don't have money after eating." Before he could finish, Pudding opened her bag and took out at least 10,000 yuan. She placed it on the table. "Is that enough?" Yes. "Ha, sorry, we're just a small business." The blonde took the money and ran away. Sis, you shouldn't have taken so much. Just pay as much as you want so you don't cheat us, Little Bean said. It's okay. I'll write an invoice later. I'll go through the menu. Pudding didn't want to spend too much money. However, to her surprise, the blonde came back with only 200 yuan for Pudding. Okay, Beauty, here's your change. I gave you 10,000. Pudding's face fell. Little Bean was right. This guy was so evil. That's right. Your table is 9,850 yuan, but our boss said that he'll round it off and give you a total of 9,800 yuan. Hee, is your seafood gilded? Little Bean sneered. Is your family's spicy lobster a spirit? Why is it so expensive? Xiao Yuan also smiled like a flower. You've indeed ordered expensive things. The cost of seafood is high to begin with, the blonde argued. We're not tourists, we're locals. What you're doing isn't right, is it? Qin Guogua looked at Goldie and said, It's because you're locals that I'm giving you 50 yuan. If you were tourists, you wouldn't even get this treatment. You mean I should thank you? Tang Tianjiao was not in the mood to eat. He stood up with a swoosh and his eyes became fierce. No, what's the meaning of this? Didn't you know that seafood was expensive before you ate it? Blondie complained. Stop arguing. After speaking, Pudding stood up slightly. She stared at Blondie and said, Give me the menu. I'll look at the price. Oh, and give me an invoice. There's no menu or invoice. Blondie's answer was straightforward. So, you want to fight? Xiao Tuanshuan clenched her fists and stood up slowly. Chapter 4878. Pudding didn't expect to encounter such a ridiculous situation in the city. She and her father usually treated their clients to meals in their own big hotels or famous restaurants. They never came to places like this where good people mixed with bad people. She didn't expect to be cheated the first time she came. She immediately lost the mood to eat. 9,800 yuan for a meal? Expensive? It really wasn't expensive. When Pudding treated her clients to meals in big hotels, it would cost 30 to 50,000 yuan. Sometimes, a bottle of red wine would cost 50 to 60,000 yuan. But that depended on the place. Pudding didn't believe that this place would cost so much. Also, the crabs she ordered weren't some rare species. They were a local kind of crab that sold at the market for 100 yuan per caddy. She ordered 10 crabs. At most, they were about 5 caddies. Even if the food stall was more expensive than the market, it would be at most 1,000 yuan. Even if the remaining dishes were added together, it was impossible for it to be close to 10,000 yuan. What was this? Expensive seafood? Was this something that was reported in a famous tourist city in the country a long time ago? The owner of a seafood restaurant probably cheated tourists. Even the prawns were priced at 38 yuan per shrimp. So, her bamboo shrimp weren't priced by the price, were they? Pudding wanted to laugh. How did it feel to be cheated in your hometown? What do you guys mean? If you can't afford it, don't eat. The blondes seemed to be provoking them on purpose. Are you bullshitting? My shoes cost 30,000 yuan, and you say that I can't afford your food stall? Do you have any fucking idea who we are? Tang Tianjiao had a bad temper. He reached out and grabbed the blonde's neck. Then he clenched his teeth and cursed. Boss, help. A customer is hitting me. The blonde's shout immediately attracted everyone's attention. The boss, who was sitting at the door with a gold chain around his neck, stood up and walked over with a watermelon knife in his hand. Behind him were 3 to 5 well-built men. What's going on? Boss, they're here to provoke us, not to eat, the blonde said as he pointed at the group of people. I'm the boss here. If you have a problem, come at me. Don't bully my employees. The boss spoke with a gangster aura. Then he pulled the blonde away from Tang Tianjiao's hand. Is this a black restaurant? The 7 of us need 9,800 yuan for a meal. Are you kidding me? Gao Buyun looked at the boss and spoke first. All of you ordered rare seafood, so it's normal for the price to be high. Don't come if you can't afford it. The boss had the posture of an unscrupulous shop owner. He even dared to speak arrogantly about rare seafood. Then look at me, don't I look like your father? Tang Tianjiao's mouth had always been very sarcastic. Usually, he was very good at scolding people. The moment he opened his mouth, he would push the conflict to the top. After being scolded like this, the boss immediately lost his face. He directly raised his knife and slashed over. "Brat, who are you scolding? If I don't kill you today." But before the knife could fall, someone shouted from behind, "Wait!" The boss turned around and saw a bald man walking over with a group of people behind him. There were about 12 or 13 of them, and all of them were wearing flowery clothes. They looked very sociable. The only thing missing was a tattoo of Peppa Pig on her shoulder. "Big Brother Tao, you're here." When the boss saw the man named Big Brother Tao, he immediately became listless. Big Brother Tao was the manager of this food stall. He was the leader of the 7 Stars Gang, a well-known local gang. He was always followed by a group of gangsters. He was about 37 or 38 years old, and he was lustful, greedy, and liked to gamble. "What's going on? Why are you bullying the little beauties?" Big Brother Tao kept glancing at Pudding, Little Bean, Xiao Tuanshuan, and Xiao Yuanyuan as he spoke. His subordinates were right. There were 2 pairs of stunningly beautiful twins here. They were going to be in luck tonight. Chapter 4879. Big Brother Tao, these people are looking for trouble? The boss pointed at these children. It was also a case of the guilty party complaining first. Let's not hurt each other. The most important thing is to have fun, right? Can someone tell me what's going on? Then Big Brother Tao looked at Pudding. Pudding was the oldest of the girls and was dressed more maturely than Little Bean. Therefore, she attracted the attention of this scumbag uncle. "We're here to eat. After we order, they let us pay the bill. I'll take out 10,000 yuan and give you 200 yuan back. I don't think the food we're eating costs more than 9,000 yuan. Is that so?" Big Brother Tao looked back at the owner. They're eating expensive food. They ordered 10 crabs at 300 yuan each. The crabs alone cost 3,000 yuan. If they can't afford it, they shouldn't have ordered. Go and get your menu. If it says 300 yuan each, then I'll take it, Pudding said calmly. Our menu fluctuates. Regular customers know that there's no fixed menu. It's all based on the current price. So it's convenient for you to rip off your customers? Pudding glared at the man. Nonsense. What evidence do you have to prove that I'm ripping off my customers? The owner's voice became fiercer. Some customers were so scared that they hurriedly paid the bill and ran away. Pudding took out her phone. I'll call the Bureau of Commodity Prices now and ask them to confirm it. Pudding was about to make the call when Big Brother Tao stopped her. What do you mean? Pudding's face darkened. Beauty, how about this? Give me some face this meal. I'll treat you and your friends. You drink a glass of wine with this boss, and this matter will be over. As he spoke, Brother Tao took a glass of beer from one of his men behind him. If it were an ordinary girl who was timid, she would definitely drink it. These gangsters like to show off and drink all the time. Moreover, this person also said that if he paid the bill, he could settle it with the owner after drinking. But who was Pudding? When she went out to do business, she usually didn't drink with big clients. Why would she drink with these hooligans in this shabby food stall? You fucker. Who are you talking to? Drink your fucking ass. Do you know who she is? Stupid cunt. Before Qin Guogua could get angry, Tang Tianjiao was the first to explode. Indeed, although Tang Tianjiao was usually very mischievous, he was especially protective. Seeing this group of hooligans forcing Pudding to drink with that idiot, how could he stand it? Little brat, my big brother is giving you face. He even paid the bill for you and helped you settle this matter. You actually scolded him. Do you not know what's good for you? The lackey behind Brother Tao immediately jumped out and started cursing at Tang Tianjiao. Do we need you to pay for your stupid bill? Don't we have money? A bunch of country bumpkins. Perhaps it was because Tang Tianjiao was too arrogant, so he swaggered and scolded this Brother Tao, making him lose face. 2 people immediately rushed up from behind him and rushed towards Tang Tianjiao. However, before they could touch him, Gao Buyuan and Qin Guogua knocked them down. Their speed was shocking. Whoa, little brother, not bad. You have some skills. Are you going to fight today? Seeing that they were going to fight, Brother Tao didn't want to drink anymore. He had drugged the drinks and wanted to knock them out one by one and put them on the bed. Now it seemed that he had to use force. Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan also stood up. No need to fight. It's too troublesome. I'll just kill you. These words came from Xiao Tuanshuan, mighty and domineering. Kill us? Sister, are you kidding? Brother Tao looked at Xiao Tuanshuan with a lewd smile. Chapter 4880. Pudding didn't expect the situation to be so out of control. They actually started a fight over supper and forced the Xiao sisters to kill someone. Opposite them was the owner of the food stall with 7 or 8 waiters, all with sticks in their hands. In addition to Brother Tao's dozen lackeys, there were more than 20 people inside and outside the group. If it were an ordinary person, they would have peed their pants. The onlookers thought that they were just a group of kids and had never seen such a scene. They should have just had a drink and reconciled, but they had to make a big deal out of it. But those people didn't expect that these kids weren't to be trifled with. They knew that the other party outnumbered them, but they still started a fight. Especially young Master Tang, who hadn't fought so happily in a long time. It was the first time he fought with so many brothers and sisters, and it was so satisfying. Pudding and Little Bean had learned taekwondo and martial arts since they were young. Although they didn't have much combat experience, they were good at fighting. Galbuyuan was also very good at fighting at the Public Security University. Tang Tianjiao loved to fight and was very resistant and had fast reflexes. Needless to say, the Qiao sisters were simply perverted existences. Among the 12-year-old children in the world, no one was better than them. As for Qin Guogua, he was the one who challenged Xiao Tuanshuan alone and won. So, what kind of little monsters did those people run into? Brother Tao made Pudding drink and completely angered everyone. Tang Tianjiao and Gao Buyuan were the first to rush up. After all, they were men and naturally had to charge forward. Qin Guogua followed closely behind. Xiao Yuanyuan pulled Little Bean and said, "You're not good at martial arts. Hide behind them. I'm a taekwondo champion. If you insult me like this, can we still have fun in the future?" Little Bean didn't know whether to laugh or cry. But she also knew that she was the weakest in this group. In order not to be a burden, she really hid behind them. But there was a reckless guy who saw that she was fat and easy to bully. He pounced on her, wanting to take advantage of her. But before he could touch Little Bean, Gao Buyuan pulled his hair and threw him out. He fell from the sky and his spine was about to break. "Ha, Buyuan, good job. I'll give you a thumbs up." Little Bean was very happy to see that. It was so good that her boyfriend was here. When they were fighting, Pudding even whispered to the Qiao sisters not to kill them and to teach them a lesson. However, Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were still extremely vicious. Although he didn't take the other party's life, as long as he hit a vital point, he would either break the other party's arm or sever the other party's tendons. The two sisters were holding very sharp daggers in their hands, and they would definitely injure people when they attacked. In just a short while, the group of burly men had already collapsed. Mournful wails could be heard everywhere, but none of them were injured. This group of little bastards. I didn't expect there to be 2 of them. Brother Tao, what should we do now? The stall owner looked at Brother Tao and felt his legs go soft. Unscrupulous profiteer, today I will pull out your tendons and peel off your skin. Xiao Tuanshuan held the dagger, his eyes cold. According to her principles, this guy deserved to die and should not live. She walked towards the boss but was stopped by Pudding. "Forget it, Tuanshuan. We've had enough. We can't eat anymore. Let's go." Pudding didn't want to continue because it was almost dawn and she had important things to do tomorrow. Xiao Tuanshuan listened to Pudding and was about to turn around. But she heard more footsteps. Chapter 4881. No one expected their reinforcements to come so quickly. Seeing that the situation wasn't looking good, Brother Tao secretly made a call. Then he called over 30 people and brought real guns. Seeing the situation, the onlookers were scared away and didn't dare to continue watching. In an instant, only the 7 of them and dozens of people were left on the big food street. "Fuck, You called for reinforcements because you can't beat us? Do you want to be arrogant? I look down on you. Tang Tianjiao stomped his feet in anger. What are you afraid of? If one comes, we'll kill one. If two come, we'll kill both. Xiao Yuanyuan took out a lollipop from somewhere and held it in her mouth with a smile. I wanted to solve your conflict out of kindness. I didn't expect you to be so ignorant. The one called Brother Tao touched his bald head and slowly opened his mouth in a cultured manner. Stop bullshitting. You're kind? You drugged the beer. Do you think we're blind? Little Bean said. The beer looked like an ordinary beer, but the color was darker than the beer. However, the color was a little darker than ordinary beer, and the taste was different. It exuded a faint fragrance. It was the smell of the drug. Little Bean was a medical student, and the Chiao sisters had a better sense of smell than ordinary people, so they knew there was something fishy in the beer. As for Pudding, although she wasn't as sharp, she was good at reading people's expressions. When Brother Tao appeared, she knew he didn't come with good intentions. So, no matter what, she wouldn't drink that beer. Tang Tianjiao was right. The people who forced her to drink in this world hadn't been born yet. Who do these gangsters think they are? After being exposed, Brother Tao became angry out of humiliation. If that's the case, then don't blame me for being rude. You broke so many things. Pay is small, but you have to apologize. Take all 7 of them back to the punishment hall. At Brother Tao's command, the 30 or so people behind him rushed forward. Just as Xiao Tuanshuan was about to make a move, he saw them raise their black muzzles. They didn't expect them to have guns. Especially the use of guns on such a large scale, which was banned in the country. Tang Tianjiao was dumbfounded and didn't know what to do. On the other hand, the others were very calm. They had no intention of being afraid at all. Little girl, this isn't a toy gun. Be careful of accidental fire. Brother Tao was extremely arrogant at this moment, thinking that he was going to win for sure. Qin Guogua, who hadn't spoken much, sighed slightly. Brat, why are you sighing? Guns are not allowed in the country at all, let alone on such a large scale. Your gun is naturally real, but it's the lowest grade air gun. It's the kind used to shoot birds, right? You used to poach, didn't you? Baldonk. Qin Guogua's words amused everyone. On the other hand, Brother Tao's face alternated between green and white. He was clearly unable to get out of this situation. Indeed, although the 7 Stars gang had a little reputation in the local area, it was impossible for them to be so arrogant as to have so many illegal guns. Furthermore, he had swaggered out so openly. Wasn't he an idiot? Just this crime alone was enough to put them all in jail for 8 to 10 years. So what if it's an air gun? It's easy to kill you. Brat, if you don't want to die, shut up. Qin Guogua walked up with a smile. He walked up to one of the gangsters and pressed the muzzle against his chest. Why don't you try to shoot me and see what happens? In the darkness, Qin Yuyao's voice was exceptionally pleasant. At that moment, Pudding and Little Bean had an illusion that their little brother was more than 14 years old. Chapter 4882. Seeing this, Qin Guogua's friends broke out in cold sweat. The elders of South Hill Manor were also shocked. It turned out that Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan always had trackers on them. It was implanted into their skin, so no matter where they were, Lu Yen and Xiao Fei would find them. Lu Yen had been paying attention to this since the beginning of the argument. She was so excited to watch the show that she called Qin Chu and Huamin over. The 4 of them sat in the study and watched the children's reactions to the outside world. When she saw the first fight, Lu Yen almost clapped her hands and cheered. Although it was called a fight, it was actually the 7 of them who were torturing the big guys one-sidedly. During this time, Huamin was worried and asked if they should go and save them. Lu Yen immediately denied it and said shamelessly that if the 7 of them couldn't even deal with these good-for-nothings, then they were good-for-nothings too. Indeed, she didn't know if she had confidence in others. But Lu Yen was very confident in her 2 little monsters. Xiao Tuanshuan and Xiao Yuanyuan were people who had truly been stained with blood. They had killed terrorists. How could they be scared by these small shrimps? Qin Chu put his arm around Huamin's shoulder and told her not to worry and to continue watching the children's performance. Lu Yen didn't intend to help the children when they were in danger. Instead, she asked her subordinates to stop the police officers who came to help. This made it more difficult for the children. It wasn't until Qin Guoguo walked out calmly and put himself under the gun. Lu Yen gave him a thumbs up. As expected of my nephew, you're a real man. Won't he be in danger? Min felt like he was going to have a heart attack. Although he knew that his son's skills were extraordinary, if he were to point his gun directly at someone else's muzzle and it really went off, wouldn't he lose his life? What should we do? Let's go and help. Min was panicking again. Sis, don't worry. Look at your son's disdainful eyes. It means he doesn't take them seriously at all. Have some confidence in your son, okay? Lu Yen felt that her sister had become timid as she got older. Not to mention that there were still 7 of them. Even if there were only Xiao Tuanchuan and Xiao Yuanyuan, they would be able to dye half the sky red with blood and kill her without leaving anything behind. I shouldn't have let them eat supper. Let's just come back and eat. Min regretted it. Lu Yen was the opposite. I think it's a good moment. If it weren't for this incident, I wouldn't have seen Pudding fight. She's so nimble in high heels. It's a pity that she's the president. She should have been a mercenary with me. After Lu Yen said that, she felt Mr. Qin's cold gaze and immediately shut her mouth, not daring to say another word. Pudding was Qin Chu's beloved daughter and had been groomed to be a Xiao. Brat, don't think that I won't shoot. Brother Tao was stunned and embarrassed. Indeed, he did not dare to shoot, because as long as the gunshot was heard, the nature of the situation would change. The security in this city had always been good, and they were good at fighting gangs. If the police came, their good days would come to an end. So, he only wanted to use the gun to scare these kids, but he didn't expect to end up in a stalemate. Baldunk, believe it or not, you'll see the king of hell before you shoot. Xiao Yuanyuan took out her lollipop and licked it playfully. Chapter 4883. Little bitch, you're scaring me. Do you think I grew up being scared? Before Big Brother Tao could finish, a muffled sound came from behind him. Then one of his men fell to the ground, his chest exploding. Since it was a small explosion, no one else was hurt. What's going on? The bald man was dumbfounded. I put sticky bombs on all of you. When I turn on the switch, they'll explode one by one. Of course, the drug won't kill you directly. But you'll be in the hospital for half a year, and you'll be disabled for the rest of your life. But I'm good to you, so I gave you a bigger dose than the others. If your bombs explode, not only will you die, but at least 3 of the people around you will die as well. Are you surprised? Xiao Yuanyuan looked at the bald man and said slowly. After she finished speaking, the people around the bald man immediately scattered, treating him as if he was a monster. You're lying. The bald man was still struggling for his life. If you don't believe me, let's try it. Xiao Yuanyuan took out a small black remote control. She pretended to press it. The bald man was so scared that he knelt on the ground and wet his pants. Yes, he was so scared that he peed his pants. I haven't lived long enough. Spare me, Yuanyuan, you're awesome. I like you. Little Bean felt so good. The 2 cousins of the Qiao family were really monsters. They went out for supper and brought sticky bombs with them. They were so powerful. Xiao Yuanyuan, I want to be your disciple. You're so awesome. Tang Tianjiao was also impressed. It's just a small KS, it's nothing. My sister didn't do much. Xiao Yuanyuan was the opposite of Xiao Tuanchuan. She was quite humble. This way, the bald man lost completely before the second scuffle. Seeing their boss kneel down and beg for mercy, the men didn't dare to point their guns at her. They immediately withered. Heroine, please let us go. I can let you go. Go, call your buddy, the owner of the food stall, Little Bean said. She had come up with another idea. At this time, Baldy's men brought over the stall owner who had been beaten black and blue. His legs were already trembling. Madam, I'm as blind as a bat. Please don't blow me up. The boss was completely cowardly. The 2 of you, come here and watch each other. Little Bean pointed at the bald man and the food stall owner. The 2 men were so scared that they didn't dare to get up. They were still kneeling straight. Then they looked at each other according to Little Bean's instructions. Closer, Little Bean said. Hearing Little Bean's words, the two of them moved closer. Come, give me a kiss. Let everyone see. Pudding, Qin Guagua, Gao Buyuan was speechless. Sister Little Bean, what are you doing? Xiao Yuan was speechless. Haha, I'm joking. I'm just trying to ease the tension. Little Bean couldn't stop laughing. She didn't dare to imagine the scene of the two men kissing. You two, listen to my command. I say 1, 2, 3, and then you two slap each other's mouths. Slap each other as hard as you can. If you don't use your full strength, I'll ask my cousin to activate the bomb. When the time comes, I'll blow you two into pieces. Chapter 4884. Little Bean was a mischievous girl and always had many ideas to prank people. Therefore, he suggested that the two of them slap each other, and they had to slap each other with all their might. The others almost burst out laughing when they heard this. Although Big Brother Tao was extremely unwilling, he had no choice. He was especially afraid of the sticky bomb in the little girl's hand. He was so scared that he quickly reached out his hand to slap them. In just a short while, their faces were swollen and swollen. Only after they were done did they vent their anger. On the way back, Pudding accidentally cut her foot on broken glass. Although she kept saying that she was fine, everyone was still worried. They sent Pudding directly to South Side, and then she did a full body checkup. Little Bean bandaged her wound herself. After a while, the sky was completely clear. The seven of them had no intention of going home. Instead, they went to have breakfast. This time, Qin Guagua paid the bill. He didn't want to go down the same path and cause less trouble. Qin Guagua took everyone to a very high-end Cantonese morning tea shop. The breakfast cost 5,000 to 6,000 yuan, which was also a big deal. While eating, Pudding deliberately mischievously took a photo of her sister's bandaged foot. She posted it on her WeChat moments, went to eat supper and got into a fight. My sister is injured. Heartbroken. Not only did she post it on her WeChat moments, but she also took the opportunity when Pudding went to the bathroom. She asked Xiao Yuan to hack into Pudding's phone password. She also posted the same photo on Pudding's WeChat moments. She also deliberately wrote, I'm injured and have 3 days off. Don't disturb me. Don't look for acquaintances. This post was not a big deal, but the entire WeChat moments was about to explode. The first to line up was the reaction of the elders. Qin Chu only sent one emoji, which was heartbroken. It was obvious how much he loved his daughter as a father. Huamin, Pudding, are you badly injured? Come back and let mommy take a look. Lu Yen, Pudding, you're injured. Wait for auntie to avenge you and kill those trash. Zhu Lingling, oh my god my darling, how did you get injured? Gao Ran, is Pudding serious? Did you go to the hospital? Jixin, what happened to Pudding? What happened? Bella, Pudding, are you home? Jiang Xiaowei, what's wrong with Pudding? How did the little baby get hurt? Pudding was stunned by the number of replies. Her expression turned cold when she saw the post on her WeChat moments. Who posted it on moments? Little Bean immediately lowered her head, didn't say anything and played dead. With Little Bean's IQ, she can't unlock my phone. Which one of you helped her? Pudding was smart enough to know that her dumb little sister wasn't that powerful. It must be some expert. He wondered if it was Buyuan, Guagua, or the Qiao sisters. Xiao Yuan gulped and pointed at Little Bean. Big sis, I didn't do it on purpose. Second sis asked me to undo it. Hey, Xiao Yuan, how can you betray me so easily? Little Bean was furious. I'm afraid that big sister will be angry with me. Sis, I'm doing this for your own good. You'll be busy with your coming-of-age ceremony these few days. Why don't you take a break? Qin Mumu, if you dare touch my phone again, I'll chop off your dog paws. Pudding picked up her phone and deleted the post on her WeChat moments. She didn't forget to post a new one. My sister was joking about my phone. Don't take it seriously. Inside the Wei family's private mansion, Wei Liao went to work early and went to the airport to pick up clients before dawn. Wei Yunchu and Jiang Xiaowei were at home. The maid had made an exquisite Chinese breakfast and the mother and son were eating porridge. Jiang Xiaowei showed her son the phone. Pudding got hurt last night. Wei Yunchu's hand that was holding the milk paused. Chapter 4885. He pretended to be calm and glanced at the photo. It was indeed Pudding's feet. Pudding's feet were white and slender. Her skin looked so tender. Pudding was fatter than her sister, so she wouldn't be so slender. He only took a look but didn't say anything. Son, aren't you worried? Jiang Xiaowei asked tentatively. Does my thoughts still matter? She won't care. With that, Wei Yunchu continued to drink his milk and lowered his head to eat his porridge. His silence made Jiang Xiaowei's heart ache. She knew that her son couldn't let it go. Otherwise, he wouldn't have traveled thousands of miles to come back to China to attend Pudding's coming-of-age ceremony. However, seeing Pudding injured, he was sad, but he couldn't comfort her. The child must be very sad. To comfort her son, Jiang Xiaowei said quietly, Son, I got someone to tell your fortune. It's that Master Wu, remember? Yes. Wei Yunchu looked up and listened to his mother seriously. I asked Master Wu about your fate with Pudding. Then, what did he say? Although he didn't believe in fortune-telling, that Master Wu seemed to be quite powerful. He heard that Uncle Qin Chu and Auntie Huamin admired him very much. Therefore, Wei Yunchu subconsciously started to get nervous, as if he was afraid that Master Wu's divination wasn't very good. Master Wu said that you and Pudding are fated. He told you to seize the opportunity. Don't miss it. Jiang Xiaowei also wanted to encourage her son. After all, she felt that her son was too quiet sometimes. He liked to keep everything to himself. The more he did this, the harder it was for misunderstandings to be resolved. I got it. Thank you, Mom. After breakfast, Jiang Xiaowei went to the Municipal Public Security Bureau to deal with some matters. Wei Yunchu drove to the Wei family's old mansion to visit his grandmother. On the way, he took out his phone from time to time. There were a few times when he wanted to call Pudding directly. He wanted to ask her how her injuries were, but he resisted the urge in the end. He still couldn't tell her that he was back. He was afraid of her coldness and indifference. He was afraid that Pudding wouldn't care whether he was back or not. In the end, Wei Yunchu resisted the urge to make a call and drove directly to the Wei family's old mansion. He did not expect to run into Tian Tian here. At first, Tian Tian was not liked, but as she grew older, she became more and more likable, especially the elders. She even learned some Huangmei opera and sang it for Grandma Wei. Wei Yunchu's grandmother was from Wannan and loved to listen to Huangmei opera. When Wei Yunchu arrived, Tian Tian had just finished singing and was eating fruits with the old lady. When she saw Wei Yunchu, she was so surprised that her jaw almost dropped. Brother Yunchu, why you here? Tian Tian was shocked. Wei Yunchu ignored her and looked directly at the old lady. Grandma. Yunchu. Is that Yunchu? Come here. The old lady stood up agitatedly and staggered towards her grandson. The old lady's health was not very good. 2 years ago, she had gone to America because she missed her grandson. When she came back, she fell seriously ill. Later on, because of her heart condition, she could not continue to take long-distance flights, so she missed her grandson very much. Now that he saw his grandson return to the country, he was very excited. Grandma, are you feeling well? Wei Yunchu took a few steps forward and supported the old lady. Yes. Grandma is fine. Little Chui, go upstairs and call his grandfather down. Tell him that Yunchu is back. You're tuning in to the Wang Lin's Journey YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.